Hello and welcome to the Underpaid Gamers Podcast. My name is Tony. I'm with my friend and colleague Justin.
Yo.
Today we have a little bit of news, but mostly an analysis of the Call of Duty World War II trailer and story information.
And content that they dropped today.
And dropped content.
Well, not today, but
we'll be talking about today.
We'll be talking about it today. How exciting!
So, without further ado,
let's hit that theme song.
And we're back.
Here we are.
The Underpaid Gamers is an official podcast of underpaidgamers.com. We are on things.
SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, all the online podcast subscriber places that you can go to find awesome podcasts.
You can leave comments on those podcast episodes, but if you want to get in contact with us more aptly,
directly,
you can tweet at us at upgamerspodcast. You can email us at underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com. Find our Facebook page and watch us on Twitch.
And YouTube.
Don't
forget YouTube.
I did forget YouTube.
And hit the sub button. If you listen to us on SoundCloud or on iTunes, do us a favor. If you haven't already subscribed to us on YouTube, go ahead and do it. We would really appreciate it, for sure.
No doubt.
So, we got some things to talk about today.
A little bit of news.
Yeah. Where would you like to start?
We'll start with the top.
All right.
Even though they're not in order.
Okay.
Deadpool 2 news.
Yep.
It's going to be released in 2018 of June.
We got to keep that appropriate in our episode, because we like to be safe for work, and Deadpool 2 is not going to be safe for work, for sure.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I don't know either. I was trying to be funny.
It's coming out in June, which is much different from when it came out in January.
That's true.
June.
No, it's February. It's Valentine's Day.
That's true. That's when it came out. It was Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah. It came out that weekend, yeah.
So, there used to be a thing called the Summer Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
That, not so much anymore. They have...
Now it's like Christmas.
Now it's Christmas. Now it's like the fall era.
Yeah.
But, still, some movies come out in the summer.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man Homecoming's going to come out.
Yep.
May, would you call May a summer month? Or is it kind of June, July, August?
I think June, July, August is the summer. I would say May is like end of spring. I would say the end of May is beginning of summer, perhaps.
I don't remember when specifically Justice League is coming out, but it might be in the summer.
Well, we don't really care so much about that movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy comes out in May, so that's not a summer month.
That's true.
I think a couple of the Batman movies, the Dark Knight trilogy came out in the summer, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Transformers comes out in the summer.
Yeah, true.
So, a lot of times, because Doctor Strange came out in the fall.
True.
Star Wars comes out in the spring or Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the Rings came in Christmas time.
Yeah.
These are all big blockbusters.
They are.
So maybe the summer blockbuster isn't so much of a thing anymore. Or maybe Deadpool
will revive it.
Revive it.
Perhaps it will.
Because then the year after it's going to be, it's going to be Deadpool in June and then Spider-Man in July.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money for Marvel.
For the film business.
Really, it's a lot of money for Disney. Like, just think about how many movies they're producing this year.
There were talks, I don't know the specific numbers, of Apple buying Disney.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Would that make you frustrated? Because when I first heard that, I would be so upset.
I would hate it.
It was like $400 trillion, something like that. It was a lot.
Disney owns so much.
I know.
It's
and
a
I'm
giant
like,
conglomerate. It has like...
How can Apple have enough money to buy Disney? But I guess they do.
I guess Apple is I think it's the most... Out of all the companies in the world, it has the most value to it.
Why? More than Disney?
Yeah, it does. It was like the most... I read it in an article on like The Economist. It's like the most valued...
Liquidable?
It's just the most
liquidity?
Valuable stock you can own.
Why?
I don't know.
I know. I understand that we're recording on an Apple computer.
It's true.
But of everything else in this room, there is no Apple things.
That's true, because we buy the better smartphones.
Hey.
Yo. I don't know, man.
But even so, wouldn't their stock with the iPhone 7 coming out and there's no headphone jack, and maybe that's an old conversation that people have gotten over, but aren't there still people that are like, this is stupid?
There are people.
I just don't... When I heard it, my first thought was, there's no way Apple can buy Disney. It's Disney,
Right. It's
which
too big.
has Marvel
and Star Wars. And its own stuff. Like, think about how much money Beauty and the Beast raked in this year. Raked in.
Any Disney movie. They own ESPN. They own half of the TV networks.
Yeah, History Channel, Discovery Channel, all those channels. The Smithsonian Channel. Discovery.
Channel.
It's Discovery. All the Disney channels. ABC Network.
ABC Family.
Yeah. All of those are all Disney.
And I just don't know how Apple can
afford it.
Yeah.
I know. I don't either. It's like, out of all the big conglomerates in the world, Disney, in my mind, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
Yes. It just, but along with that, people were talking about what would that mean for like Netflix, or the fact that because Netflix and Apple TV are competitors, direct competitors, for streaming, but Disney just signed the waiver with Netflix, right, to have all their movies come out. That's why
exactly.
you see Civil War. That's why you see probably the Jungle Book's on there, all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what would that mean? Hopefully, the day will never come when Apple owns Disney.
I just hate all the big business. Like, why can't we have competition? Why can't there be different companies? Well, why does it have to be one big company? I don't know. It's just a free market economist in me saying that sometimes free markets go crazy and start conglomerating into big old monopolies.
Who does Apple has to own some movie business or something, right?
Probably.
Are tech companies that much more financially stable and profitable than like entertainment companies? And if so, why are Mac computers so expensive?
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, like inelasticity of supply and demand. But, mostly demand inelasticity. But that's a lot of econ talk that I don't want to do right now because I'm not at school.
We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah,
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Let's move forward.
But in case you're having bad dreams, Apple might be in discussions to buy Disney.
Essentially, Apple's taking over the world. Dang it. Okay.
Can you imagine? What if you tried to watch Netflix and all you had was headphones with you and you didn't have your adapter?
What are you supposed to do?
And a screen. I mean, obviously you have a screen.
What are you supposed to do in that situation? I don't know.
You gotta be one of those people that watches things on the bus without headphones. They're just super loud.
Probably.
Stop watching Game of Thrones super loud. One, you're spoiling it. Two, half of it's sex scenes. There's a little girl over there that's not ready for that. Put some headphones on.
That's right.
Or just don't watch Game of Thrones in public.
Yeah, I would feel really awkward watching Game of Thrones in public.
You can watch The Walking Dead in public. That's not
too
terribly graphic or anything.
Well, it can be, though. Like, I guess the first few seasons were much worse than they are now.
What's worse, violence or nudity? For like a public setting. Here in the United States. Because I would say nudity.
I mean,
in the United
more
States.
shocking would be nudity. But in my mind, violence is probably a bigger deal than nudity.
Because I guess in this situation, I'm comparing Game of Thrones to
Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. Because The Walking Dead is more violent.
That's true.
Not as graphic,
Also,
I
you
guess.
haven't seen Game of Thrones in a while. The first season is really bad like that. And then the fourth season, there's a bunch of nudity in it. But recently, it's not been as much.
I have watched all 6 seasons.
You watched all 6 seasons? I thought
Yes.
you only watched the first season.
I've watched all 6.
Oh. Well. You know it slows down. Like, there's a lot less nudity.
Yeah, no joking. People are still going bonkers about Game of Thrones. I'm like, I don't know if it's that good.
I can't believe you just said that.
I mean, it's pretty good, but I don't know if it's the best TV show. I was also,
It is the best.
in my mind,
Easy.
I know where you'll fall on this, and I'm trying to rank sitcoms, and I was thinking, obviously, The Office is going to be part of that.
Sure, yeah.
But to go with that, do you think Parks and Rec is better than The Office or not?
I think it's slightly worse than The Office.
What about 30 Rock? Have you watched that?
I have watched all of 30 Rock.
I'm in the process of watching it. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's any better than Parks and Rec.
I would say it's on par with Parks and Rec.
Really?
Yeah, because they're slightly different.
There are people in Parks and Rec that there's people in 30 Rock that I just can't stand. But there's not really anybody in Parks and Rec that I don't care about. And then I was comparing Parks and Rec to The Office on a character-by-character basis.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so Jim and Andy are directly comparable.
Perhaps. Maybe.
Because, like, Jim is
way more
the lovable gentleman, and Andy is the lovable doofus. But they're both the lovable guy.
Yeah, the lovable guy. Okay, I can give you that one.
So, Michael, Scott, and
Leslie Knope.
Or
were you thinking Ron Swanson?
I was thinking
Ron
Swanson.
Ron and Dwight are more similar.
That might be true.
Because they're both like manly, try to be manly all the time.
Dwight is almost Gary. Gary Larry Gergich.
Because I feel like Larry's more like Kevin.
I don't know. Yes, I agree. I forgot about Kevin.
Yeah.
So I think they're more aptly comparable, but at the same time, if we're talking about I guess on those three, maybe I'll give it to The Office. I've watched all The Office.
Yeah.
I also think it's something that might be a little highly rated than maybe it should be.
I don't know. I've watched it 4 times through, and I still like it.
But on that topic, because what got me there was I'll see memes online all the time. They're like, oh, I wanted to watch a movie on Netflix, but instead of looking for it, I just watched The Office for the 6th time. I'm like, the reason The Office is so popular is because people just watch it all the time.
No, the reason it's so popular is because it's so good. Not because people watch all the time.
See, okay.
That would be like, it's Friday. Something goes viral, people watch it just because people are watching it, and then it's over.
What do you think has more views, Friday or The Office?
Oh, The Office. Easy. By hours, by
hours, that's not fair.
Times you hit play. I mean, I've hit play. I mean, if there are 25 episodes, 22 episodes in each season, I've hit play plenty of times.
I guess in my mind, maybe. So I like Scrubs a lot.
Dude, Scrubs is great.
But I really think the epitome of sitcoms might be Seinfeld.
See, I have not watched really any Seinfeld.
So what I like about Seinfeld that I don't think any other TV show has done.
This is totally a tangent, too. We did not plan this.
That's okay. Is that Seinfeld sets things in motion very early on in the episode that are unnoticeable, and then they erupt at the end of the episode.
Okay.
So there's this giant web of things weaving through every single episode, and sometimes through multiple episodes.
Yeah.
Where they'll say something stupid at the very beginning, and you're like, okay, whatever, that's kind of a funny joke.
Yeah.
Then later, it's like the punchline to the whole episode.
Oh,
and it draws
funny.
back and forth like that, and I was comparing that directly to The Office and Parks and Rec and 30 Rock. 30 Rock does a better job of that. Parks and Rec doesn't really do that, and The Office doesn't really do that. The Office is kind of just like a standard procedural, where it's like, this is what's happening in this episode, and there's jokes on the way there, but there's not really anything that happens in the beginning. So like one of my
the beginning is its own joke,
yes.
right? Before the theme song.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Little short.
Seinfeld technically opens up with a little stand-up scene every episode.
Like I said, I've never seen Seinfeld, so
You should watch it because it's really good. But there is one episode which I think is my favorite, and it's just are you familiar at all with the characters on Seinfeld?
I've seen pictures of them.
Okay, so Kramer is the guy that's next door. He's really tall. He has crazy hair. He's just a really crazy guy for the most part.
Okay.
And he always gets into these real weird, crazy antics. And there's this one time. This is just what Seinfeld happens: is small little things go into a big thing to where like Elaine is Jerry's ex-girlfriend, but now they're all friends. So there's 4 main characters in Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld, obviously.
Yeah.
There's Elaine, that's the girl. There's George, who is a short, stocky, bald-headed guy.
Yeah, I've seen him.
There's Kramer, who is Kramer, the other guy. Elaine has a boss who has invited her to this very prestigious banquet to celebrate their business, and as well as to like it's a big donation for people that are mentally handicapped.
Okay.
And this is in the 90s, so it's a little more loose with what they say than what they do now.
Right.
But so that's what's happening, and it's this huge, big prestigious thing. It's in New York City. It's like the biggest thing that's happening that night. So Elaine is really antsy to go. She doesn't know if she's going to get invited or not, and she does, and she gets to bring a friend. So I think she brings Jerry. So that's the main foreground of the episode is whether they're going to go or not, and there's jokes with that. In the side subtopic of the episode, Kramer is off doing his own thing, and he goes to the dentist. And you know when you get the numbing agent.
Sure.
So obviously you can't talk and your mouth is all loopy. And then I think he has his arm in a sling from a previous episode because it's broken. And he's walking out and someone like drops a potted plant on his foot. So he has an arm in a sling, so his jacket doesn't fit right. He can't talk, so he's like drooling and he's limping. And he limps and he falls into a limousine, just happens to be the head speaker for the banquet that Elaine is going to.
No.
The banquet guy in the limousine thinks that Kramer is mentally handicapped, invites him as his guest of honor.
That's hilarious.
And Kramer doesn't understand that the guy thinks that he's mentally handicapped.
Oh, that's funny.
So he just keeps going around being normal, but because he's so loopy from the dentist appointment, he's super loopy. So Elaine is stressing out about if she's going to be there. Jerry, I don't think even wants to be there, but they show up and they find that Kramer is sitting at the head table with the guy that she wants to meet.
Yeah.
And eventually his Novocaine is wearing off, so he becomes less and less.
Lucid,
yeah,
right.
He becomes more and more lucid, but Kramer's such a weird guy that the more lucid he becomes, the more normal he is, the more kind of crazy he is to a normal person.
Yeah.
So everything just seems normal for everyone that's watching him. They're just like, yeah, this is like a mentally handicapped guy. But it's just one of those things where Seinfeld does things like that in shows in almost every episode, where there'll be a main topic and the subtopic is Kramer or George or something, and every little thing adds up. I don't know. I just think...
So Seinfeld's good.
So we got on a super... I don't know what started here, but...
Yeah, I don't know how it got there, but it did.
I like Seinfeld.
Seinfeld is what we learned. We need to watch that if you haven't.
I guess in my opinion, I think Seinfeld might be the best TV show of all time, the best sitcom.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like Scrubs is pretty high up there, too. It's hard for me to compare Scrubs and The Office because The Office is like purely like comedy, really.
Scrubs is like a drama comedy.
And Scrubs is more drama. So like my first time watching Scrubs, I was like super into it just because I wanted to know what happens in all the relationships and JD and Turk and like all the different stuff that was going on all the time. Which there's an element of that in The Office, but I think the focus is more comedy in The Office than it is in Scrubs. Yes.
What's your favorite bit from The Office?
My favorite bit. There's a few different scenes, as in like the intro part.
Okay.
One time when the first time Jim shows up as he dresses as Dwight, and he like mocks him. He's like, "Well, joke's on you. Mockery is the best form of flattery." And he's like, "Michael!" And it's just hilarious. And one time, Jim also in like the opening bit, he like hires or has one of his friends come in, and he's like Asian.
The Asian actor. That's so funny. It's April Fool's.
He pretends like it's Jim. He's like, "What are you talking about, Dwight? I've been here this like," and like Pam comes over and like kisses him on the lips, and like Dwight is like going crazy.
Then he changed all the photo frames to pictures of them.
Yeah, it's so funny. Then they do like the music video opening, the lip
syncing,
lip dubbing, and that was really good. That was a good one too.
Do you think that the pranks are the best kind of comedy in that show, like Jim and Dwight's dynamic, or do you think Michael is the best, or what do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to decide. I think initially, I would say Jim and Dwight and their constant shenanigans is probably the best comedy in there, followed by Michael and just like anything he does.
The Office has been out. It first came out, I think, when I was in middle school. I think there's a lot of layers to The Office. Whereas when I'm younger, it's like, oh, Jim and Dwight's stuff is so funny because I get that.
Yeah.
But then later, when you start watching like what
Michael does,
what Michael does, and like how he's acting, like not like as a character, but like
sarcastically, or
like as Steve Carell is acting as Michael and what he's doing, I'm like, that's a really deep level of comedy that I really appreciate.
Yeah, like some of the facial expressions that he has.
And it's a lot of the stuff is subtle. I hate any sitcom that has a laugh track. Because I feel like it takes it out. I don't think any of these do. Seinfeld has a live audience.
Okay.
So sometimes... go back to Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Whenever Kramer goes into Seinfeld's apartment, he always swings the door open real fast. You might have seen that. It got to the point in like the 4th season where that was always his first entrance into the show. The studio audience would always go crazy whenever he entered. So they made the studio audience not be able to cheer for him when he comes in. So in the first couple seasons, whenever he opened the door, it's like 5 seconds of just cheering. So it really throws off the comedy of people, the comedy of the actors.
Sure.
And then later, everyone complained and like, okay, well now we can't cheer for him. So now in the later seasons, there's no cheering.
It's super awkward.
Yeah. Well, it's not awkward. It's just it goes faster paced.
Yeah.
But it's something that you can notice. Anyway. Back to the show.
So, next bit on our news after Deadpool 2. Star Wars has a release date for Episode 9. It is May 24th, 2019.
May the 24th be with you.
Yeah, I thought it would be hopefully May 4th, but, whatever. Whatever, Disney. So, so we're shifting over to May, which originally, back to Force Awakens, was supposed to come out in May, and they were supposed to have that yearly cycle in May every year. And then The Force Awakens got pushed back, which is, I'm always fine with people pushing things back if it's not good or if it's not ready. I'm always cool with that. And so they did that, and then it's been on that Christmas cycle. But now, looks like by Episode 9, they're going to catch back up to what the original plan was.
Did you see
Should be
the costume releases of Kylo Ren and
I have.
Rey?
Yeah, and
what do you think of those?
The reveal in Battlefront 2 that shows pictures of them in the outfits as well.
I don't know about that.
They look pretty cool. I like it.
Rey's is like a gray. She looks a lot, without looking at it, I think she looks a lot like a Kenobi outfit, does it? Or do you see any parallels there?
I mean, when I look at it, I think of Grey Jedi, but that's just because I'm looking into it too much because I want.
What does Kylo Ren? What does his outfit look like?
To me, it seems more. I don't know. I think it speaks a message of like getting old, like maturing past like the face mask thing, getting rid of that too.
So there's a beard.
Yeah,
he has a big old beard, white beard.
So, yep, big long white beard.
Gosh, wouldn't that be sick though? If he had a white beard, like if some Sith Lord had a giant white beard, there's contrast to all the black that he wears.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be sick. Some sad news.
Tell me.
I guess to go back kind of to the Disney ESPN era that we're talking about. ESPN is to lay off about 100 on-air staffers, which affects us in the gaming industry because sometimes ESPN shows video game tournaments online, on TV.
Yeah.
Live on air.
Because they have that esports segments.
Mm-hmm. A lot of channels are doing that now. Mm-hmm. Well, more channels than
before.
There's
been a lot of growth.
So it's not... I don't like that I see that they're losing 100 on-air staffers, the people that are actually hosting things.
Yeah.
Especially if that means...
Esports
is going to suffer as well.
Yeah.
On the national televised front. Okay, whatever. I guess.
Growing pains.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. Well, live TV is probably dying media anyway, so let's be honest.
You think if they showed video games on live TV to market to the millennials, it would revive itself or not? Do you think Netflix has done its damage?
I think the internet has done its damage. The customers, you get exactly what you want from the internet, right? You follow people on Twitch, you get to watch whatever you want. Netflix, you get to choose whatever you want. No commercials, right?
Except for Hulu.
Even
if you have the premium version of Hulu, I think there's still commercials.
I think that the future and what channels should do is move from cable to hosting their own TV shows on their websites, and then you can pay like $2 a month and subscribe to their streaming or their version of Netflix for their shows. I would there are some channels that I'd be willing to do that for. I would be willing to pay a couple bucks a month just to subscribe to their channel, kind of like HBO does. Yeah. With HBO Go. I think that's a good idea.
I had Comcast and I had HBO with them, even though I didn't have. I had the minimum internet and cable package because I didn't use cable,
and it still came with it.
Yeah, but it still came with it.
Yeah. That's how I watched the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones.
I wanted to watch Legion on FX or Fox, whichever one it's on. Honestly, first of all, why is there a channel called Fox and why is there a channel called FX?
Confusing!
So I wanted to watch that, and I went on and you have a free trial that lasts about 45 minutes.
That's not long
every week. And first of all your episodes are more than 45 minutes of every show, pretty much. So why would... I don't know, it was just frustrating. I just want to be able to watch shows.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe not even for free, I guess. But I don't know. The only time I ever had TV, cable, was when I lived in my parents' house. So to me, everything on TV was free.
Yeah. And
now that I'm out on my own, I don't pay for cable because I really don't need it.
Well, I wouldn't watch it.
Yeah, I pay for Netflix, definitely.
Because I watch it. And it's when I go home and spend time with my family, if I spend a weekend with my family.
Yeah.
I never watch TV. I just don't. Because there's so many other things I could do.
Yeah.
And usually I'm on my laptop if we're not doing anything, or we play a board game. Or there's a million other things. Or we'll watch YouTube on the TV, or we'll watch Netflix on the TV. We won't watch cable, really. My parents still do, because I think just habits die hard, but...
Yeah, that is weird.
I definitely don't.
Generations.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus games coming out in May.
Yeah, we got a couple on the list here. Some of them more interesting than others. I know we've talked a lot about Telltale games in the podcast the last couple weeks.
Someone wrote a scathing review about how the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game, the story and everything is really good, but the engine is just
trash. Absolute garbage.
I think they said that the engine is holding them back. It's dated by a century. I mean, no century.
That's exactly what you said, essentially. Last week. You said similar things. So, Telltale Games is doing Tales from the Borderlands. It's been already out, but it's going to be the PlayStation Plus free game in May. Also with Abzu, which is that ocean-y game That's kind of
like Journey.
Yeah, kind of like Journey. Alienation for our European friends out there. Laser Disco Defenders, which is described on this website as bullet hell plus disco music plus laser show inspired visuals equals yes. So sounds like the only hero, kind of like that indie style shooting game, and then that's pretty much it.
So Tales from the Borderlands has been released. Episode 1 has been released as a free PlayStation Plus game before. So this website doesn't say if it's the whole game or not.
I'm guessing it is. I would guess it is, but
so I'd hope so, because I would like to play a Telltale game
all the way through.
Yeah, all the way through instead of just episode 1, which I think is also another big problem with their games, is that it's episodic released.
And I'm not about that. When I want to buy the whole game and play through the whole thing.
Well, you can buy them physically
after they're all done, right? Right, like after they have them all. Don't they print them after that?
Maybe, but I believe with Guardians you could buy the disc in May.
Okay.
Next month, and then you just download
the rest of them,
which doesn't make any sense. Why would I buy a disc if you're just going to download it? Right. But I think maybe it's not even a disc. Maybe it's just like an empty case
with a code in it.
There's a season pass here.
That's true.
But
definitely could be.
I don't necessarily like. See, this is what I don't understand about Telltale games. Why are they episode releases? Why don't you just do the whole game?
Yeah.
Fix your engine and ship it out that way. The only reason that they could have an episodic release is that then people talk about them in little spurts.
Kind of like it's like a mixture of TV and gaming. Right? Because like one of the most fun things about television. And watching things live, which is the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones I've watched live. And I've enjoyed those 2 seasons way more than the other seasons of Game of Thrones because I've engaged with all my friends who watch Game of Thrones and with the internet, reading theories, making guesses, watching analysis videos and breakdowns. Like, it's so much fun to talk about all that stuff and different theories and where the show's going. Westworld had similar things, I know.
Westworld was so good.
So anyways, it sounds like Telltale's trying to get into that a little bit.
I don't know.
That fandom, kind of. I don't know.
I'm just upset that they took Guardians.
Yeah.
Could have taken, Fantastic Four.
Well, they keep sucking up a lot of really good stories.
I'm
sure there'll be a Star Wars Telltale instead of, a Bounty Hunter one or something that could be a really cool video game, but instead it's Telltale. Which have a good story, but it won't be that much fun.
Fantastic Four would have been a great thing for them to take.
True.
Because how are you going to have a good Fantastic Four video game when you have 4 different characters that do so much different things? But they do have some great stories.
Yeah.
Reed Richards in the group. Anyway, you brought something special.
I did.
With you here.
Yep.
You want to talk about it?
Sure. I had a student give me for the weekend his Nintendo Switch. And so I played some snipper clips.
I gotta say that's weird.
Yeah, well, it happened.
All right.
I should have said no, but I didn't. I was like, all right. So yeah, I played some snipper clips yesterday, and I played Breath of the Wild.
Have you played it?
Yeah.
Since he let you borrow it, or just the first time?
No, this is yesterday.
What's your thoughts? What's your
snipper clips?
Take 2
specifically is a lot of little mini puzzles. And I don't know how much it is, but to me it feels kind of like a PlayStation Plus game. Like a free game that comes out monthly.
Free game?
Yeah, not I don't know. I think
but even the PS Plus games have a price on them.
Sure.
Just not on that 1 month.
Sure. So I would say it's $15 or $20.
$15 or $20
Maybe
for
20.
snipper clips?
Yeah. Well, it's just
You played with somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a puzzle game, really.
And
if you're really into puzzle games, it's great. If you're not, then it's like a puzzle game. So.
Do you think maybe the mastery of Breath of the Wild and the fact that you can buy that for $60 has risen the bar for Nintendo Switch $60 games?
I would say yes.
If Breath of the Wild wasn't that good and you paid $60 for it, you're like, okay, I understand, maybe the Switch isn't that good, but I'll still pay $60 for other games. Whereas, because this one's so good, maybe in our terms, Breath of the Wild is worth $90, $100 to some people.
Yeah. Some people put a crazy amount of hours on that game.
Yeah, so you're paying $60 for a game that's twice as worth it.
Yeah.
So do you think that's negatively affecting all the other games on the Switch that are out, the other 3?
I really don't think it probably is much. Because all the people who have Switches right now have it because they love Nintendo. Mm-hmm. Because there's not enough content out there to make a Switch like an economy buy or like a valuable buy. You know, it's like I think the first wave of Switch owners are people who love Nintendo and loved the innovation that they're doing with like making a to-go console.
Along that lines,
sure.
Nintendo just announced, which is ridiculous.
A
new 2DS XL that is just as powerful as the 3DS XL.
But it's 2DS.
Yeah. Stop making...
And the name of it is new, right? It has new in the title.
I don't know, probably.
It's like new 2D XL, and I was like, when will this stop, Nintendo? When is this going to be like new DSL XL Lite? Like, are you going to just keep coming up with all these names?
I'm really just upset at the fact that they aren't committing to the fact that the Switch is a on-the-go console, and they need to make everything for that, and they need to stop making things for the 3DS and the 2DS. And while the 3DS sold really well,
yeah,
I think the DS sold the most. But I think the 3DS did really well too. Maybe better, I'm not sure. You have a console that's for home, but from what I've seen, it's primarily for the go. Or like laying in bed. It's not something that you set in the case because the case scratches it.
Apparently.
Also, it bends it if you leave it in there too long. So stop making consoles that are taken away from your own market.
Perhaps.
Nintendo.
So, but they've done a lot of good things,
yes.
Right? Look at the numbers.
Yeah, so oddly enough, the Switch has sold 2.74 million consoles. That's not what's odd. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good amount.
The odd thing is that Breath of the Wild has sold 2.76 million. So there's more Breath of the Wilds that have been sold than actual consoles for it.
Funny thing, the student that I borrowed the Switch from...
Has two?
Has two.
Why?
I think there was like some confusion with his pre-order, and he thought he canceled the pre-order, so he bought another one, and then he got both. So he was like, oh. I think that's what happened. I'll have to get that worked out.
Did he pay for both of them?
Yes. But I think he thought he canceled it, though. So he thought he was going to get his money back, but then he got 2 copies.
He should have done the Target method, which happened to me yesterday.
What?
We were walking through Target, and...
this was labeled $6.
The sign was backwards on the display case, and it was a really nice shirt, and it said $6 for this shirt. So I grabbed it. I'm like, that's a really good deal. So we went to self-checkout, because why wouldn't you? It's the easiest way to do it. And we got up there, and it rang up as $25. And me and my wife were talking like, this is not $6. Well, do you want to get it? I don't really know if I want to get it. And the person that's helping at the self-checkout is like, what's the issue over here? And I'm like, well, this rang up as $25, but the sign said $6. And she's like, oh, okay. So she goes in and she changes it to $6, doesn't ask any more questions, doesn't say anything else, and just walks away. Yep. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, nice shirt for $6.
And then we bought it, came back later that day with you, we went back over to the display, and the sign had been turned around, and it was referencing some other shirts. That's not the one that I bought. So my shirt was actually supposed to be $25.
Yep.
So now I'm going to go to jail because I just have an on-air confession.
It's okay. I'm sure they will not be that upset.
Probably pay the difference.
About the $10.
I could probably pay $19.
Yeah, $19 difference. So it's not a big deal. NBD, yo. NBD.
That's what he should have done with Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, I didn't mean to order this. This is $6, right? Oh, yeah.
You okay?
You want to talk about Call of Duty?
Yeah, this is probably the biggest gaming news this week. So we probably should talk about it. Maybe I'll get back into Call of Duty. That's what my thoughts are.
You didn't buy the last one.
Nope.
So this is your rotation?
How
do you do it? You do every other? Or you do
I was doing every
two?
other. I didn't do Advanced Warfare. I did Black Ops 3.
Did you?
Yep.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I think so. On PS4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
We played it together.
I don't remember
that. And then
Infinite Warfare is out right
came
now.
out, and I did not buy that one.
Nobody bought.
Somewhere in there was Ghosts.
That's a long time ago.
Okay, maybe not. So yeah, I guess this
Ghosts,
would be my rotation.
Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3. Ghost was 4 years ago.
Okay. Man, I'm old. That feels like yesterday.
Like I said, I made a tweet. World at War came out in 2008.
Which was great.
which was 9 years ago.
We played that in college a lot.
Yes, and the joke I made was that the average age of a Call of Duty player at that time was 4 years old.
Yep. I enjoyed that tweet. I think I liked it.
I don't remember.
I referenced it in person with people.
Did you?
Yeah. I was like, look at this fact.
You're retweeting in normal conversations.
IRL. In real life. Yes.
Anyways, what we found out is that Call of Duty, we knew this for a while, Call of Duty is going back to its roots of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are making comparisons that Battlefield did this first. Technically, Battlefield did World War I most recently.
But I think the references...
The people that are making the references are, again, those 12-year-olds that weren't around when the first World War II games came out.
That's true. That's true. They don't have that. Also, I mean, they are kind of like returning to that time since both of them have kind of pushed the envelope of like modern and future warfare.
Call of Duty a little too much, though.
Call of Duty pressed way too far. But so it's nice that we're getting this pushback to these historical times because I think people, while the futuristic stuff is cool, it's pretty saturated right now, and we haven't had good historical-based shooters in years. Years. Can I emphasize years?
9 of them since World at War. Well, unless you want to count Black Ops 1, which is Vietnam era.
Yeah, it was Cold War kind of going through.
Cold War Vietnam era.
Yeah. So I consider that one more historical than the rest.
All right, 7 years.
But still, it's been a
7
long
years
time.
Is a long time. 7 years is the life of a gamer. It can be.
Yeah, and what's the last Battlefield game that was like historical?
1942?
Battlefield 1942? Maybe?
Which did not come out in 1942.
It did not come out in 1942. It came out when I was in high school, I think.
It was around the same time as I was in high school. I was playing on PS3, I remember.
Yeah, I played on PC all the time.
Probably 7 years ago.
Yeah. It's been quite some time.
So, yeah, there hasn't been a lot of people. What other World War II games have been out? I know that there's been like there's a Bethesda game. It's like if the Nazis won.
Oh, it's like, is it the spy one where you can be... There's like this one where you can... Like, you turn the whole place more colorful as you go through the game. Or
the Saboteur?
Yeah.
No, not that one.
That's not...
That was a good one, too.
I thought
that was on
too, right?
the PS3, maybe?
Oh, was it?
That was a long time ago.
Okay. Was that one based in World War II, though? Like, if...
Yeah, it was based... You were in France, I believe, because I played the game. I actually beat it. It was a cool concept.
Yeah.
Where the game starts out and it's almost black and white. It's really tinted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the game starts out and it's all color, and then the Nazi Germany invades France, and all color washes away except for the red of the flags, the red and black of the flags.
Yeah.
And all the buildings are like a gray stone type color that you can see. But the more you liberate France, the more color comes back to the area.
That's cool.
So by the end of the game, everything is back to the normal colors, and because you have liberated more of France, the Nazi presence has retreated.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more color there and less of the black and red.
Mm-hmm.
It was an open world game. Not necessarily the best gameplay wise, but I did really like the concept. Like Splatoon before Splatoon.
Yeah.
Almost.
I mean, I like Splatoon. It's fun.
Shooting freedom from your goo cannon.
Yep.
Anyway, I really can't think of the game.
I can't.
But there hasn't been. I mean, I can't think of that one game's name. But can you think of any World War II era games?
Not on consoles. I know there's been some like RTSs and tactical like top-down games that have been out on Steam in the last 8 years, probably 6 years, so earlier than the Call of Duty. But we're not. I really like major releases for console. No, this is it. This is the first time in a while. And if you think about it, FPSs as we know them today are rooted in World War II, right? Like think of Medal of Honor.
Yes.
Think of Wolfenstein, right?
Wolfenstein! That's the game I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah, that would be
the
one.
new ones. The New Blood. The New Order. The Old Blood. The New Order.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I guess that would be it, but it's more like fantasy.
Yeah, 2 of those came out. That's in the era,
yeah.
But it's like, what happens if the Nazis won? Mm-hmm. What happens if I have a giant robotic arm type thing?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I was looking up.
There you go.
That's the only game I can think of that came out in World War II era.
It's
so that doesn't really count.
based. But it's like fantastical version of it.
So this, and while people don't agree specifically with olden times that Call of Duty is a realistic shooter,
this one looks like it's going to be.
Well, it's more realistic shooter than Wolfenstein.
Oh, definitely.
It's on. It's on par with Black Ops or with Battlefield. Like Battlefield has bullet drop distance and the Coriolis effect and stuff like that.
True.
But I mean, while this is an arcade shooter, it's still more realistic than an Overwatch or a Titanfall.
Oh, for sure.
Type thing.
Or Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're excited for this to come out. Just because this is what we grew up with.
It is.
We grew up playing these games.
And like I said, it to me, this is what birthed the modern FPS. Right? I mean, that's the way... I can't think of it like Star Siege Tribes was a game before... Well, but even that, like, was at the same time as, like, the original Call of Duties.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to see what other games Sledgehammer's made, because I know...
This is their first historic shooter.
Okay.
They made Advanced Warfare.
Okay.
So I was talking to some of my friends, and they were really dogging on Sledgehammer Games for making... They're like, I can't believe that Sledgehammer Games is allowed to make this World War II game. Mm-hmm. If they do a bad job, Call of Duty is going to die. Like, first of all, that's never going to happen. Call of Duty has been the #1 selling game forever.
Yep, even Ghosts.
Even Ghosts did really well. Actually, we looked that one up specifically. Ghosts came out the same time that Grand Theft Auto 5 came out.
Oh, yeah. Grand Theft Auto 1, didn't it?
They won. But other than that... But I mean,
that's real steep competition.
Yeah. And they're just like, I can't believe they're making this because they did such a bad job with Advanced Warfare. I don't think that's a fair comparison, because maybe Sledgehammer Games had a good take on, like, maybe that was their idea, was to make Advanced Warfare the way it was with the first that's the first Jetpack Call of Duty.
Sure.
But that's just a new take on something. I think they did a good job in that game. It's just not what people wanted. Like, I don't think the game itself is bad.
Right. Well, I mean, I just looked at the game rating. It had 84%.
Advanced Warfare?
Yeah.
It had a great campaign. I really liked the campaign.
Yeah.
That's the one with Kevin Spacey as the villain.
Mm-hmm.
But Advanced Warfare, if you take off the Call of Duty name and just say Advanced Warfare, it was a great shooter. It was fantastic. But it's because people expected it to be like Call of Duty, and it wasn't. That's why they don't like it. But I think Sledgehammer has proven that they can make great games. Mm-hmm. And I think that this Call of Duty World War II will be a fantastic game, especially... if it's just grounded in the way that people want it to. I think it's going to have a lot of, and by grounded I mean just like physically on the ground, and maybe even less fanatical stuff. So actually like fantastical stuff, maybe actually like grounded mentally.
Yeah, I think so too.
But the only thing that concerns me is they said on their live stream that
the announcement.
Yes, that the some of the game features for multiplayer and for, I believe, campaign, maybe not campaign, but multiplayer, are these things called divisions, which is like a create a class type system, which Call of Duty started, and it's like an enlistment. So what I took that as is maybe like a specialist from Black Ops 3 or from Advanced Warfare, you know? So like in Black Ops 3, you had the giant guy with a machine gun or a guy with a grenade launcher. Like, that was his specialist. Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe that's somebody's enlistment. Like, because they had grenade launchers in World War II.
Yeah.
They had gas canisters.
I mean, they had those in World War I.
Yeah. So I don't want specialists. I just want everyone to have the same, like, I want classic Call of Duty, you know? So you create a class, you go in, and it's your class versus their class. And there's not things you can pick up on the level like in Halo. There's not things that give you an edge over someone like a giant machine gun.
Right.
Unless you equip that, but then that has different drawbacks.
Like you're really slow or something.
Yeah. So I'm afraid that this division means you just sight into something and like, oh, once you get enough points, you then get a grenade launcher. And that's different from a kill streak.
It is.
Am I making sense to you?
Yeah, keep going.
That's just what I'm afraid of, is that I don't want these divisions to be just another way for them to say specialist.
Yeah.
And obviously there's not going to be jetpacks or anything like that. They confirm boost on the ground. But it's just the divisions is what makes me afraid. Because they don't really go into a lot of details about specific things like that until it comes out later.
I mean, when I think of division, I don't think of, like, the classes. To me, I hear, like, historically, divisions in the military. Are they not talking about, like, vignettes? Because that's kind of what I had...
No, because they said... well, it was a screenshot that I saw that said game features, and there's 3 of them. We haven't talked about the other 2 yet, but one of them is war, one of them is headquarters, and one of them is division. And in this one, so the war one is more like the battlefield operations, the game mode. So they say it's a narrative-driven Axis versus Allies which is like operations. So
yeah,
it's that big thing
scale.
where
You're like pushing warfare
yeah.
and giant battles. Yeah.
And then the headquarters is everyone says that's like the tower in Destiny. So it's the place where you can go.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said Division, which is the only one that they said. I don't have this verbatim, but it said Division is a created class enlistment type system, which makes me think it's like specialist. Like you enlist in this class at the beginning of each match, and then with that you get a specific weapon.
Yeah, and I wonder if they balance teams by what you enlist as.
I mean,
I don't know. That's just a thought that came into my mind.
I assume they just do it like they have in all the other
like matchmaking, just regular matchmaking.
Yeah, like 6v6, and then you get to choose your specialist.
Oh, okay.
Or in this case,
I kind of imagine it as like this giant pool of players that all pick different enlistments, and then they like balance teams, like having like 3 scouts, 3 medics, 3 assault, 3 engineers.
So when you think of Division, you think of like the battlefield type divisions where you have a scout, you have a medic, you have things.
Well, I think like the military grouping of units of people.
Okay.
So like that division.
But on a game basis, when you think Division, it sounded like you're thinking of a battlefield type thing.
Sure.
Where there's a scout, there's an assault player, there's a
So there's people, with different roles.
See, when I think Division, I think of a specialist type thing where someone has, you can have points, you get a big enough kill streak, you have a grenade launcher, you get this, you get this.
I mean, that would make sense with the Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Because they've done similar things.
That's not what I want. I just want standard kill streaks.
Mm-hmm.
Back.
Like dogs.
I want them back, baby. Sledgehammer did do a really bad job with kill streaks in Advanced Warfare. I'll give them that. Those score streaks were awful. They're the first ones that you could upgrade. So you had the basic one. You could add something to it, and it would cost you more points to get it. It's a real mess.
OP?
No, just impossible to get.
Oh.
Maybe not impossible to get, but in order for them to be useful, you had to up how much you had. I don't know. I don't like it. So Call of Duty World War II, things that we took from the live stream was the fact that there's going to be a private beta later this year.
Yep.
And I really hope that they call it a private beta, because private, a name for a new person in the military.
That's true.
You can use that.
It's very funny.
You can use it if you want. The official release is going to be November 3rd. I didn't look. I assume it's a Tuesday. It's going to focus entirely in the European theater, he says.
Which is a little bit disappointing to me, because I was really hoping to get the world perspective.
Yes. And it's from 1944 to 1945. So right at the end of the war.
All U.S., probably.
All U.S., and it's pushing... It ends in Germany, is what they said.
So it's pushing through France to Germany.
There's going to be... we both saw that there's like a French woman that may be a playable character. I don't know. That was a big deal in World War II.
Yeah.
Which made me come to the idea that is diversity that big of a deal for a historic shooter like this?
My answer to that was that being historically accurate is more important. So if there was a woman who did this, then this is great. If there, like in any sort of diversity, I think historical shooters should try and be based on real events and real things.
But it's not going to be like a woman just in the army.
Right. I mean...
Yes, there were some.
Right. If there would be a woman who fought, it would have been like, oh my gosh, the Nazis are here. I have patients. I'm going to take this guy's rifle and protect these patients, which I'm sure happened at times.
But it's not like you create a character and you get to choose a woman or a man.
True.
Maybe in multiplayer, because I mean, why it doesn't really matter in multiplayer, but for like story, I guess. You're not going to see. You shouldn't be seeing a lot of women in this movie, in this game.
Yeah, not besides nurses.
Yeah.
And doctors, mostly nurses.
And not diverse. In diversity, I don't mean by race necessarily. I guess I mean by gender, because there was a lot of African Americans that fought. I mean, everyone Irish
in segregated units.
Yeah.
Like the Tuskegee Airmen and things.
Yeah. Do you remember in the trailer that we just watched? Was there any African Americans in the group that you play as?
I don't think so.
So I think it's going to be pretty much an all-white cast at the very beginning, and that will probably draw some criticisms when it comes out.
But that's historically accurate. They
didn't
desegregate the army until the Korean War, which was the next one in the 50s. So, if people give it crap for that, I'm like, dude, it's history.
I almost guarantee that someone's going to be like,
oh yeah, dude, it's the internet, dude. You just look at YouTube comments. I'm sure there's already one in there.
I know, but I guess Battlefield 1 did such a good job with their diversity, right?
Well, that one's true, but they had diversity in World War One because the empires all had they like drew troops from their colonies, and so there were Indian troops fighting in Europe. There were African troops fighting for the French in Europe.
Yeah.
And even there were black soldiers in the U.S. who also fought in segregated units too, who did different tasks. So. There was a lot of diversity
Howling, Harlem Commandos? I don't remember what it's called.
Mm-hmm. In the Argonne Forest, I think. What forest was that? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Either way.
Luke Cage!
Yeah. Dude, he would rock in World War II. He'd be so good.
Gosh.
He could just walk and just nothing would matter.
He would just do what his normal did, just flail his arms around.
That's all you need.
That's it. I mean,
if it was cool, he'd have 2 Tommy guns and just be walking around all around you. That'd be sick. Also, he's super strong, so why not BARs with expanded mags? That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, so I guess we will keep an eye out for any diversity-related comments, or not so much comments on the YouTube, but I guarantee you someone's going to write an article about how there's not enough diversity in this. And I'll read their argument, and I will see what I think. Maybe we'll bring it back up.
We might, we may not. If it's not a big deal, then we won't. If it is, we will.
So it's going to feature the D-Day landing.
True.
As you would expect in any World War II shooter.
That's true. It has to. It's like a staple.
Yes. Ever since Saving Private Ryan.
It's true.
Unfortunately, there's not going to be any Pacific fighting in here at all.
Which I'm sad.
World War II or World at War did that primarily.
They did.
So maybe they're.
But again, that was a long time ago.
Yes, it was.
I mean, I would have been cool if they did 2 campaigns, European campaign, Asia campaign, right? Pacific and Atlantic theaters, and you could go through 2 different campaigns. That'd be really cool. Just so of course, that doesn't. I mean, they could use it for a sequel, right? And the next World War II one could be a different front.
Yes.
But
hopefully,
there's just a lot of battles and things we have not seen in Call of Duty in World War II. That'd be sick.
Yeah. They said that there's not going to be any health regeneration in the campaign. So instead of hiding behind cover and waiting for your health to regen, you have to go to a squad mate who has health, and he'll give it to you. Or go to a squad mate and get ammo. He'll give it to you.
Oh, nice.
They said sometimes you'll be separated from those squad mates.
That's just going to be harder.
Yes, so it'll be harder. So maybe in one part of this mission, you don't have any health. Or in one part of this mission, you don't have any ammo. Which will make the camp. I always think Call of Duty campaigns are pretty good. So this one will make it. I would venture to say that much better.
Yeah. Well, I support this. I think this is a good idea. I think most of the campaigns have been really easy unless you play it on the hardest difficulty and then you die with 1 bullet.
Yeah, then it's not difficult in the sense of
just frustrating.
Yeah, it's just you died. There's gonna be a multiplayer reveal at E3 in June, which was 2 or 3 months earlier than what they did for Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare had the trailer come out, everybody hated it. They held onto the multiplayer reveal until 2 weeks before it came out. Which I don't understand, but whatever. So now they're shoving this up first, which I think is a good idea because I think people are interested in this.
We like information, right?
Yes.
I mean, we looked at the likes, didn't we? The difference. Well, I think I looked at the likes and it was 835,000 likes already. And then somebody in the comments compared it to Infinite Warfare's trailer, which had 475,000 likes. So it's oh wow, this is already more popular.
Yeah, almost double. Nazi Zombies will be back. But it's not the same story from Treyarch's Nazi Zombies. This is a new story.
That's true. We'll see.
I don't play zombies. I don't play zombies for the story. If I did play zombies, probably.
No, it was just because I'm bored.
So this is just something to say.
The most experience I have with zombies is when we were in college, we had floor competitions to see who could go the longest, survive the most rounds. Yep. And that was a running thing for a couple of weeks where we had all our whiteboards on our doors and we had how many rounds we went. It was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
It was a good time.
You want to talk about the campaign?
I am excited for the campaign.
The officers, the main story elements.
So one of the things that has been revealed is they've talked about there's 2 officers. I think the high-ranking officer is the one who always wants to complete the mission, and the mission comes first.
Duty first is what I think he says in the trailer.
Yeah. And then there's another officer who is all about the men and them surviving. And so the whole campaign kind of revolves around this tension between these 2 characters. And I wonder if there's going to be choices in this. with what
You
you
think?
do. Like, do you choose duty? Do you choose?
I don't think about that.
That would be really cool.
There was choices in Black Ops 2.
That's true. There were.
And there were some tough choices there.
Yeah, like kill the guy or let him live.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
I know.
Like, you either got to choose to kill the guy, not blow your cover, or not kill him, blow your cover, he dies anyway.
Yep.
Like, gosh dang it.
Yep. So I think it'd be... I'm excited about this. I mean, this is kind of like... This is just realistic warfare, right? Like, you would have people who felt this way.
Yes.
Both ways.
And
right?
it looks like it's pretty fleshed out in the trailer. I mean, it's just a trailer. I was thinking while I was watching the trailer, there's a lot of action shots. Like, man, if this was a movie, I don't think I'd go see it. Because it just looks like action. But I think it's different for a video game.
Definitely different for a video game. Because, like, the ratio of action to story in a video game is like 70-30, 80-20.
Except for The Last of Us, which is almost 50-50.
Yeah, that's true.
If not more story.
And Telltale Games, which is like
100% story.
Right? That's like 80% story.
95.
But yeah, I think it's normal for a game trailer.
The more I am talking about this game, the more I become excited.
Really?
Yes.
Were you not excited before you walked into this basement?
No, I mean, I don't know. Just the more I get your view on it, the more I think it's more like the more that I see other people are excited, makes me excited.
Oh,
type thing.
Well, I definitely want to get this game because
From what we've seen so far.
From what we've seen so far. Now, if they come out and be like microtransactions day one,
which is going to be in there anyway,
which eventually will be in there. Is it immediate? Do they already?
Probably. Why not?
They do what they do to make money, and it's going to be probably camo skins and multiplayer that you roll the dice for or spend money for.
They did do something different in Infinite Warfare, I believe, where you could all the guns are available to purchase with in-game currency, or which are expensive, or you could roll for them.
Yeah.
So maybe they're getting it to be a little bit better.
It's just I don't want to. You already pay $60. I don't want to have to do a pay to win in multiplayer, right? Like to get access to some OP gun that only kids who steal their parents' credit cards get, you know. Because I don't have to spend more money on it.
Yeah.
Like I already paid for a full game. Skins are fine, right? Character models fine.
Yeah.
But if it actually affects the gameplay, like a gun or a knife or something that's like better, like I think that's always annoying. Like Overwatch does a great job with skins and like rewarding you for playing because none of those things are.
I would like to see how much money Overwatch has made.
Over time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the year.
Yeah.
Like, see if people are actually spending money on loot boxes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or, because if they're not, then that's not a good comparison for Call of Duty.
That's true.
Because Call of Duty wants to make, Activision wants to make that bank. They make a lot of money
off of it.
Yeah.
I would assume they do make money off it, but.
I don't know.
Also, Blizzard's really tight with their numbers and money.
Are they?
Yeah, because in the past, like people have always wondered like how many WoW subscribers there are, like
They don't say.
And they don't like people do estimates.
They just said the other day about how many people they have playing, or how many people have gotten Overwatch. And it's like 56 million or something like that.
Yeah, and they do release information occasionally, but they're like very tight-lipped about it until they want to make an announcement. And usually it's only good information, right?
Yeah.
And so they wait for some milestone and like, oh look, 100 million players of WoW. Like, oh my gosh.
What's what I like about Nintendo? Nintendo always releases their information like no matter what.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Microsoft does not.
No, definitely not.
Sony does this generation because they're killing it with the PS4.
Yeah, they are killing it with the PS4.
Except they haven't released any information on the PS4 Pro because nobody's bought it. So all in all, this World War II game, Call of Duty, I think
looks pretty good.
Will be interesting. It'll be fun to play another Call of Duty game that doesn't have the jetpacking and stuff like that. A grounded game. This one is coming out against Red Dead Redemption 2. Which are two different, very, very different games.
Very different.
But ironically enough, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out against Ghosts, and this one's coming out against Red Dead Redemption. Which one do you think is going to sell?
I think Call of Duty will still beat Red Dead.
I do too, because Red Dead Redemption is not as name of a brand as GTA.
I think that Red Dead will probably still be better.
Yeah.
Might win Game of the Year.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yes.
But Call of Duty will sell more money.
Yeah. Sell more
copies.
Battlefront 2 is coming out this year.
Yeah, I'm excited for Battlefront 2.
You need to start saving money for this.
My wallet's gonna just die. It's gonna be dead because Battlefront 2 is coming out, and I'm excited about that one too. I was excited for the first one, and everyone was like, "Don't be excited for it." And by everyone, I mean Tony, because he's like, "There's no campaign. There's none of this. Still loved it. Played it.
Yeah, still play it.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I guess
But I do that with all shooters.
Yeah, that's like
other than Overwatch.
almost a whole year. How many games do you play for a whole year?
Only Destiny. I did that with Destiny.
Yeah.
Just about. Oh, not
even a whole year.
It was like 3 months
The first
straight.
expansion, you're like, I'm done.
It was like 3 months, and then nothing, and then I played for like 2 weeks randomly, and then it was nothing. That was a good one.
Sweet.
Destiny 2 comes out this year too?
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Destiny 2, Battlefront 2, Call of Duty World War 2, Red Dead 2.
Redemption 2.
Yeah, Redemption 2, to be specific.
Hopefully Spider-Man comes out in spring of 2018.
And then, Kingdom Hearts...
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding.
No, they said, I didn't write this down, but...
They pushed it back, I know.
They didn't even push it back. They said Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 7 will be coming out in 2018 or later.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not necessarily pushing it back. I guess
it's
the way that I read it...
opening it up to the possibility.
Yeah. The way that I read it is they're excited. They're like, oh, it's going to come out in 2018 or later.
Yeah.
But I guess what it could have been is like, don't expect it in 2017. It's going to come out in 2018 or later.
True.
But the way I actually read it and interpreted it was, this game's never coming out.
Yep. Well, I think the 7 remake will come out. I don't think Kingdom Hearts will come out.
What if 7 Episode 1 comes out and then nothing else?
Well, if it doesn't do very well, that might happen.
Oh, man.
But I doubt it. Like, 7 has such a cult following and is so, like, classic. Like, people build it up to be, like, the classic JRPG. So I'm sure it's going to do fine.
Sweet.
Sell enough copies.
I think that's all we have to talk about today.
That is everything she wrote.
So thanks for listening to us talk about Call of Duty.
Yep.
There'll be more news about Call of Duty in the future.
Yeah,
as well as other things. Next week's episode, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yep. It's going to be good.
So tell us how excited you are by tweeting at us at UPGamersPodcast. You can email us at underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com.
True.
Follow us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music.
Yep.
You can subscribe to us on YouTube. I just put up a video of our 5-minute platinum review for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
And Facebook, we're on there. We're on Twitch. Try to do every Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I would like to this Tuesday.
I got a new job.
He has a new job, so we'll see how the schedule works out. But either way, we'd love to see you guys there. It's one of my favorite things when we have people on the Twitch stream join us and play.
Oh, yeah. We're on Instagram.
Fun.
I forgot about Instagram.
We are on Instagram.
Well, we don't post that much. Sometimes I post. Sometimes I post gaming things.
That's true.
I only post gaming things.
Because it's Underpaid Gamers.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching and listening. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.